And we are live.
So let me damn, that's crazy. The delay, right? The delay from when we say that from when it pops up with it, it is kind of fucking crazy. Hold on for a second. I'm still setting some stuff up. All right. Here we go. I'm ready. Let's do the intro. Welcome, everyone, to the Black Culture Geeks podcast. This is my man, SBJ.
You.
And I am Tombstone the Dead Man. And we are just a couple of geeks talking about pop culture from a black perspective.
Facts.
Facts indeed. Now, you guys know we don't have a lot of time. We ain't here for a long time. We're here for a good time.
Facts.
But it would be remiss of us to not alert anybody who doesn't know that currently the United States and Israel has basically declared war on Iran.
Correct.
And are attacking Iran as we speak. Now, no, there hasn't been a declaration of war through Congress, like the Constitution says it is. But over the past few presidents, what we have seen, right, is this eroding of constitutional norms.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen. So as they funnel more power up into the executive branch, some of you are going to get the king you wanted. Are we winning yet? Is this winning? Remember, I seem to recall the no more stupid wars. No more stupid wars. And yet, in the past year, look at all the shit that then took place. Now, the stated reason for this is that, they got nuclear stuff. But if you recall last June, they were saying when we bombed them, we obliterated their nuclear capabilities. It was necessary to do. And anyone that says otherwise is un-American. Well, apparently the Iranians either have super geniuses or aliens.
Yep.
Because they was able to reconstitute a nuclear program in less than a year, because it's not even June of 2026.
Yeah, 8 months.
And to the point where it's a threat to us, apparently, and Israel, apparently. Right. That's what's happening, according to what they just told us. I'm old enough to remember a time when they used to lie to us with better lies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like stuff that was plausible. When they attacked Saddam Hussein and they used the weapons of mass destruction thing, you know why it was plausible? It was plausible because we had given them some stuff. So it was plausible. Possibly might have some, yeah. And now the lies don't even respect your intellect,
right,
or your ability to think. They don't. They think.
Well, to be fair,
I was about to go right into that. They think you're so fucking stupid, and you're so fucking consumed with all of the stuff that's over here that they can just tell you any fucking thing. And you know what? They're right. You 100% are so fucking stupid. Or at the very least, you have been. Because this is one of the times where I can honestly say I've seen a lot of people see this for what it was and see it coming. And literally, they've been predicting this in the zeitgeist. For those of you that might come across this video that's in a bubble because of your job, meaning you work for some politician or whatever, and all you talk to is the people around you that also works for the government and shit. I gotta tell you, the people are onto your shit. Sure, there's 25% of them that's going to parrot anything this administration says.
Right.
They're going to co-sign it. They're going to do all of that shit. But the vast majority of us have been predicting this is what you do. And guess what else they're saying? They're saying that there's a couple of reasons you're doing it. They're saying, one, to distract from the Epstein files. Two, they're saying so that you can be in the midst of some shit right around the midterms, so you can attempt to put what is the act that they were talking about?
Which one?
Some emergency powers act
Oh,
that will cause y'all, and martial law that'll cause y'all to take control of the elections. Here's this, to me, is something that a lot of people believe. But again, this is one of the issues that I have the most issue with, because the reality is they still had elections during the Civil War.
right.
That's literally a fight happening right here in the country. Like, our farm fields were battlefields. Your block, if you was alive back then, could have been a battlefield. And they still had elections. So this idea that because we're fighting somebody across the Atlantic, that there shouldn't be any midterm elections is fugazi as fuck. But if they
hold on real quick. You still gonna be able to hear me, but the stream won't.
Okay, bet. But again, what's funny is that they think you're so stupid anyway. They're just going to say these things. Like, your massa said that he's been fully exonerated in the Epstein files. He just said it because that's what they do now. They just say things. And they know that all they have to do is say it enough times and get their little minions and operatives out there to say it on all these TV shows and all these interview shows and all these podcasts. And enough of you will believe it. Something else really fast. Now, I see this being used a lot, and I caution motherfuckers from doing it because you're deluding yourselves even further. Yes, there are lots of bots that pop up in comment sections and on articles, videos, Instagram stuff, you name it. Bunch of bots. Every time there's some political stuff. I caution you that a lot of them aren't bots. They're your stupid ass fellow American. Yes. I know we want to make ourselves feel better by saying, oh, these are Russian bots. And some of them are. But a lot of them are not. Most of them are your fellow dumbass Americans. I know. We want to find reasons to blame China for every goddamn thing. Did you know this week? Did you know that China was actually propping up the US dollar? Now, they had their own reasons for doing it.
Sure.
Because it's still the global currency.
Right. Currently.
And it going down would affect the employees over in their country's money. And when them people don't get money, and when they don't have this, they don't have that, they do protest.
They do things.
Oh, yes. They do. So I get it that you want to blame them for everything. This has nothing to do with them. Who told you to take all your manufacturing shit and put it overseas? Who told you that? Who told you to do that? Nobody told you to do that. These corporatists did that shit because they didn't want to pay your ass all that money. They said, oh, that's too much. Even though they were already wealthy as a motherfucker. They didn't want to pay their workers. So they said, hey, we're going to take it overseas where the expectation for monetary recompense is a lot lower. And that's what they did. And over the course of decades of them doing that shit, guess what? America hardly makes anything anymore.
Yeah.
Most of the shit that we use is brought in from another fucking country. Who told you to do that? Meanwhile, in China, their manufacturing wing and sector,
they make sure.
They make everything over there. Now, I invite you to do just a quick history check. What was the thing that everyone was afraid of, or at least the people who were experts in this shit was afraid of with the United States when it came to World War I and World War II? Its manufacturing capabilities.
Yeah.
It was quoted to even have been said, do not wake the sleeping giant. And what did America do when once it got into the war? Late as fuck. What did it do? It transformed a lot of the manufacturers over here into wartime manufacturers, making bullets, tanks, shit like that. I'm talking toy companies. Fucking toy companies were making tanks. It's hard to fight that. Now, I invite you to think about right now, without that manufacturing power, right now. If a country that had a good enough military, good enough economics, they could starve us out.
Right.
They could blockade shit so the shit don't get over here. And then you have to go fight them to break the blockade, which means it's gonna cost you lives and treasure, and they're gonna destroy shit. And when that shit gets destroyed, who gonna make you another one?
Huh.
Especially after you done pissed off the rest of the fucking world. So now nobody wants to fucking deal with you anymore. Because you're so fucking myopic and so fucking xenophobic. This shit is ridiculous. That all you did was poke yourself in the eye. That's all you did. All that talking greasy about other countries that are supposed to be your allies and your trade partners, all that treating them with disrespect, all of that creating treaties and deals with them only for another administration to come in and say, fuck that shit, we ain't doing none of that shit. All of that has a cost. And I know, because I've had conversations with regular citizens who sat around here talking about, I just don't want to get involved with none of that. I don't want to think about that. Because you think in your rabbit ass mind in 2026 that shit won't affect you personally. It already is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry, I do not know it.
So I feel like we did our due diligence on this show. We reported on some shit. And we gave some political commentary on it.
Right.
His name, I wish I did.
That's all I got to say about it. Fuck that.
Everyone.
Fuck that. Y'all wanted this.
Yeah.
So you got it.
Absolutely. Let me. Oh, I stopped following her. Right. Dang, I'm trying to find. All right. Well, let me just get into it. So the BAFTAs.
Oh yeah.
Incident.
Let's talk about that.
John Davidson. Actually, we ain't gonna spend too much time on the actual thing. I'm just gonna tell y'all what happened. John Davidson yelled nigga while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were accepting an award. Now, just as I was writing my notes, thought about the irony of that, because that clip that we play every now and then of the man being like, say it. Go ahead, say it.
What up, Biddy? What, nigga? Oh, sorry.
That's Delroy Lindo. So the fact that it happened.
Yeah. He said, say it.
Yeah.
Say it. I'll say it with you.
Right.
Yo.
So the fact that it happened with him on stage is like, wow, that's insane.
Yeah, it is.
So hold on. Wow. So the reason that I was kept turning around and distracted right now is because Chrissy is leaving the house with JJ for the first time.
Oh my!
Not only is it her first time driving since she had the baby, she is now she's coming back. Not only is it the first time she's driving, so she had the baby, but also, this is the first time of her driving with the baby. So
Right.
that's the whole thing. Apparently she's coming back. I think her tire got flat. Not got flat, but it's flat.
Oh,
So,
shit.
It's not that big. It's not like busted or anything. It's just flat, and she doesn't know how to use the compressor.
Are you going to have to go out there and...
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Wait, hold
Is
on.
she going visiting?
Yeah, she's going to her parents' house. But yeah, so
How old is JJ?
he will be.
Graydon was asking.
He will be a
talking about
month Monday.
that. A month Monday. See how responsible y'all are?
What?
Y'all responsible as shit, bro. So, that baby's healthy. That baby was not dragged out of the house 3 days after coming from the damn hospital.
I mean, that's not true. That's not true.
What do
We
you
had to take him
mean?
to his first appointment,
Okay, that's necessary.
and then
y'all
we went to
y'all ain't
get some food.
parade him around.
Oh no, he ain't been in nobody's house or nothing like that.
Yeah.
No, we had to go to his first appointment. Well, he's been out of the house twice before now. He had to go to his first appointment, and then we had not had to. Chrissy wanted to get out the house,
Right.
and we was hungry, so I'm like, all right, let's go get some breakfast and come back. Hold on.
The biggest fight after my daughter was born I got into with her mother was that it was cold, it was rainy, she was a preemie, and you wanted to drag her around to show her off to all your friends, be to this person's house, that person's house, out there in that fucking cold and moisture. I wasn't with it.
I get it. I was making the well, not even a joke. It's true that the other Chrissy had an appointment. I think Tuesday. That was the first time that she's been out of the house when the temperature was above freezing. since since Lord knows how long.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the whole thing. We're okay. If you can't fill it at all, it'll be good. So he yelled nigga. He yelled nigga while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were accepting an award.
Oh, but surely he yelled it when there was white people up there.
No.
Interesting.
No. So he is a Tourette syndrome advocate, and obviously he has Tourette's.
Yes, Tourette's.
And he has Coprolalia, which is the one that makes you yell out slurs and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The BAFTA Awards knew that he was going to be there, obviously, because he was there because he had put out a movie about Tourette's awareness.
Thing.
Yeah. He informed them additionally
Thusly.
that he had that condition.
Mm-hmm.
The audience was informed that he would be there.
Mm-hmm.
He was seated like 40 rows back. But somehow, the BAFTAs had a mic set up right by his seat.
Well, wonders never cease.
Yeah, so
Because that's the thing to do.
right, I just that just doesn't sound right. So not even he. The show airs at least 2 hours after it happens.
Right.
That was not the first slur he shouted out that night.
No.
Was not the first slur. The rest of them, mysteriously, didn't make the broadcast, though.
Yeah, they all got edited and cut out.
Yeah, except that one.
We haven't heard a reason for that either.
No, of course not.
So we're gonna insert our own. That's what's gonna
I
happen.
mean,
This is how it happens.
Facts.
Listen, if you don't have transparency,
yeah,
people are gonna insert their own. And Black people have a certain trauma from years of experience. When every time we become successful, have something successful, there's something that's done to try to take the little bit of wins out of the sales. That Sinners movie and the fact that Ryan Coogler has rights to all his shit. Yeah. That's the first deal of its kind like that, especially with us, right? And then all of a sudden, yeah. So since you're not gonna say why they didn't get edited, you ain't even they ain't. Oh, we missed that one.
Right.
We didn't get that.
No,
we didn't get that.
And I have not seen or heard their apology. They have made one. I don't care to see it or hear it. I don't know if they mentioned the fact that things were edited. Yeah, I don't.
Free Palestine.
Yeah, that was edited out. Yep. So yeah. Excuse me. When John Davidson saw that Michael B. Jordan. Oh goodness. Hold
on. Yeah, listen. Biddy says, of course that was done on purpose. They could have easily edited that out. Exactly, Biddy.
What is
exactly? Like I video edit.
Hold on.
SBJ video edits. This is a simple thing. And the type of access and resources to equipment they got, this is easy. It was done on purpose. Now, there is a school of thought I've seen bandied about that, this was to get attention to the awards. I don't think that was what it is, because why would you want that type of attention? Like why would you want that? It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. But at the end of the day, I don't think we're ever really going to get a reasonable explanation for it, because even if they give us one now and late, what up, GA? Even if they give us one now and it's late, no one's going to believe that, because the first thing we're going to ask is, why take you so long to say that, to come out with that? But y'all got into a boardroom and workshop an excuse. Say this will work. This might work. Say something else too. When situations like this take place and they try to find ways to mitigate any damage and not be held accountable for it, you know what helps them? This impulse that a lot of us have to run interference, to try to assume good intent, but it was just an accident or a mistake. That helps them. They know there's a segment of the population that's going to do that, and they're going to run in. And I saw it. I saw it this week. I saw it on posts by people who should know better, who typically do on every other topic except that one. Super wild for that, GA. Super wild. And with it, every so often there's an event that takes place, and I watch the responses from people, because this is a learning, teachable moment, right? Sometimes it's teachable for society in general. Sometimes it's teachable for individual people. For me, it's not society in general. It's for individuals. This is a learning moment for me when it comes to dealing with people, because when events like this take place, I look at the responses from people who weren't in the line of fire. In other words, people who weren't targeted. I look at what they say and what excuses they make. And it teaches me on how much I can actually trust these people. And I saw things this week from people this week that let me know you are not to be trusted. I can only trust you a certain amount. And then after that, nah, absolutely not. So I don't want to say that these things are good because of the teachable moment. They're still not good. I'm just saying more, you gotta find some good to take out of it. And sometimes that's just a lesson. It's just a lesson. And like I said, we can't force them, right, to give us an explanation. And they know how the attention span of the public works. Yes, GA, I seen it. I seen it from people who should know better. And typically do on any other case but this. Any other case than this. And like I said, when I see it, I don't always comment. But I'll be watching and go, okay, got you. I know where you at. I know where you at. It's insane. But you know, at this point in the game, at this point in pop culture, I don't know that we can call anything like truly insane anymore. I don't think so. Because truthfully, we have seen too much stuff to now still be denying certain shit as at the very least possible. What up, cartoon videos? I'm personally from I'm in Maryland. My broadcast partner's in Maryland too. But we're not in the same city. But yeah, like we've seen too much stuff lately. Way too much stuff. Way too much. Everything from the stuff that's happening with the Epstein files, like this is something else I think some people are missing, right? They're missing the fact that there were pictures coming from that shit. All right. There are pictures. It's not just emails or written correspondence between these people. Nah, not at all. It's more than that. It's way more than that. They have pictures. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there are other forms of evidence that's been coming out. But the way they've been dropping it is strategic. Drop some on a Friday when they know, you know, people are focused on other shit. And Americans have very short attention, spans of attention. So they know that if they drop it during the time that the news cycle was busy with some shit, they think the odds are that a lot of people won't be paying attention to the shit. I don't know that that's true with this case though. Like I've seen people go out of their way to keep that in the news cycle, to keep that on social media. I've seen it. GA says, at first I was like, but quickly like, well, that is the BBC. Go figure. You know what's crazy about that too? About the BBC and all of that? So I got interviewed by the BBC before, twice. They came to my house when I lived in Laurel, Maryland, years ago. They interviewed me once by myself, and then they interviewed me and my brother Napalm. That interview in its entirety did not make it to the article they did. Instead, what they did is they just took a clip of me speaking about a certain thing and placed that like in the beginning montage of the interview. And the reason that they GA says it ain't middle Americans hate pedos more than minorities. So, at any rate, the reason why the BBC did not, I believe anyway, I had no way of proving it. I believe the reason why they didn't use my interviews is because I got into a argument with the producer over something that really had nothing to do with what we were being interviewed about. It was over string theory. String theory. I don't even remember how we got into that conversation for real. But I'm on the phone with him, and through the course of the conversation, of course, science was going to be a part of it because, in my music, I did promote scientific inquiry and things of that nature. And it was part of the reason they wanted to interview me was because of the stuff that I was rapping about. So we eventually got onto the topic of string theory. And the argument started when he tried to make the claim that string theory had been proven. And I was like, no, it hadn't. No, there's still some things that has to be worked out with it. And I told him, said, listen, I am by no means a physicist, right? Or a quantum physicist, none of that. However, the particular community I'm in, there are a lot of people with expertise in that field. And I've talked to them. Bro, GA says, don't you love when that happens? Random M theory conversation. Yeah, facts. So I told him, I said, some of the people that in my community are very educated on this stuff. And I've talked to them extensively about a lot of these things because this type of information actually helps me with my songs, right? So look at y'all see the cat? Y'all see chaos right there looking out the window? So we went around and around and around. I'll never forget, I was outside of the house having this conversation. And he was super annoyed that I wouldn't agree with him that it's been proven. And all I know is that when the interview came out, they included a bunch of other stuff from a bunch of other people they interviewed, but not me. And the reason they found out about me was because they were in Baltimore. They had a reporter in Baltimore, and she was asking for different people who had some sort of influence and were atheists or whatever, right? So it just so happens when she was asking people, they said my name. Oh yeah, it's an artist from Baltimore named Tombstone. He's from Baltimore, from Tombstone, named Tombstone. Blah blah blah. And they got in contact with me on social media. And then I talked to them it was a woman interviewer. I talked to her on the phone. She came by, she did the interview. And I kind of feel like it wasted my time by them not including me in the interview because I had some good shit to say, right? But all they included was a few snippets of things that I said in the interview. That was it. Much better interview with Jamila Bey for NPR. Much better interview. Because we did talk about the music and we talked about science and we talked about atheism and we talked about a bunch of stuff, which was dope. She did the kind of interview that I prefer when you do interviews, is that they focus on the music, on the lyrics, what you're talking about, why you decide to talk about that sort of shit, all of that. That's the kind of interview I prefer. Yeah, Jamila's cool as fuck, man. She's cool as fuck. I went down. This interview was done in studio, so I had to go into DC and go to their building down there. Shut up. So
it's all lies.
It was dope. It was a dope experience.
No, it wasn't.
Shut up.
My bad.
Yo, while you was gone, right? Chaos decided to make his BCG debut and shit. He climbed up, put his paws up on the window to look out because you obviously went out there. So he wanted to see
That's hilarious.
What the fuck is happening out here?
Oh,
what the fuck is happening out here?
All right, what I miss?
Oh, no, I talked about more about the story we were talking about, and about these when situations like this take place. I basically said it's a teaching moment for me as an individual because I watch to see who is defending what.
Yes.
People who should know better, who and typically do, and then I know where to compartmentalize these people, right? So I want to thank a lot of you. I want to thank a lot of you for being so forward about the shit on social media. Thanks.
All right.
My Rolodex that much more organized now because of that. Absolutely.
All right. So the couple of points I wanted to take out of this is they had Nightcrawler come on and apologize.
Yo, I thought that was the wildest shit ever. They had Sir Alan Cummings, that's right, I said sir, come on and apologize. He literally bamfed in front of the mic and apologized and shit.
Here's the thing. Fuck? Why did y'all have him come on to apologize if y'all was planning to edit it out? Because the people watching at home would have seen an apology for something that never happened.
Right.
So,
right.
We gonna get to that, Biddy. Biddy says, I shared an old documentary the guy did. Understanding his condition is no excuse on the impact of harm he caused. Here's the thing. There's a lot of people. All right, let me just get to this. There's outrage in every direction, right?
Yes.
But one thing that, if you have been around here for a while, you will know. I'm black first. Now, listen, what do I mean by that? We've talked about intersectionality on here.
Yes.
Actually, there are people that might be listening who the first time you ever heard that term was on BCGs.
On this, yeah, it's facts.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That's facts.
We talked about intersectionality on here, and basically the idea of intersectionality is you think of every class of people, class as in whether they're a protected class or blah 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 of people, and they all exist on a road, and then there are intersections. So,
what up, Discord?
So, yeah, I'm all about intersectionality, but the thing about intersections is when you're traveling, you can't travel on two roads at the same time. The road I'm driving on is black.
Yeah.
That's the road I'm driving on.
Yeah. Yeah. Great analogy.
Also, people are notoriously bad at context and nuance.
Yes.
Well, in any conversation where we are throwing context and nuance out the window, I'm black.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Right.
So, let me play this video. I hope this is the right one. Now, a little backstory. I used to follow her because I thought her content was interesting. She has Tourette's. She has Coprolalia. And, you know, I thought her content was dope.
Right.
Let's see what she had to say. Oh, mind you, the first video she made, she didn't even bother to look up Delroy Lindo's name.
Wow.
And that was a little bit of a flag for me. But then I saw this follow-up video. I think this is the one.
Hello, everyone. I am back from my short.
No, it's not this one.
This is part 2 to my last post about the entire BAFTA situation. I am seeing a ton of people saying, oh my god, during Black History Month, Tourette syndrome is not based on a month. Offensive tics are going to happen.
I don't know if this is the right one.
I'm black. Oh my goodness. And I also have the N-word as a tic. I have other slurs as tics. Does this mean that I use them regularly? Does this mean that I meme them? Does this mean that I control what I say? No, it does not. That's not how Coprolalia works. That is not how Tourette syndrome works. Quite literally the Sweet Anita situation all over again. Shut up. Where she ended up saying the N-word on stream. She got canceled for it, got called racist, etc. We need to do better. I've seen so many people say, that we can control our tics.
This ain't the right video.
If you can control a tic, it's not a tic. I can't believe... Ignore how I look right now. Great kitchen. I am not feeling too great. However, there's something I have been asked to talk about, and that is going to be about the situation. I have been seeing a bunch of outrage about it. People saying, "Oh, well, why would that even be in his vocabulary? He did it on purpose and all this stuff." Racism is too
Maybe she deleted the
It's a sad
video.
day for the Tourette's community, especially for the ones that have coprolalia, because when you come online and you see thousands of people hating on your condition, specifically coprolalia, because that's something that is already very embarrassing for all of us. Not going to say that people can't be offended by the fact that somebody said the N-word as a tick. However, it's not something that somebody can control. It's not something that somebody wants to say. And I've been seeing a lot of people be like, well, he said it like when the crowd went silent. That is most likely when a tick is going to happen when you're in public, when you're in complete silence, or when you're trying not to say or do something. So we must understand what coprolalia is. Coprolalia causes involuntary swearing and inappropriate ticks. This can include the N-word, slurs, etc. I'm a black person, even I have the N-word tick, and slurs as ticks. It's something I don't see many talk about because of situations like this. Is it a disappointing thing that it happened in public in front of that entire crowd, specifically to Michael B. Jordan and the other presenter? I'm so sorry I do not know his name. I wish I did, but
no, this is the first video I saw, and this is the one where she didn't know Delroy Lindo's name. And then there was a second video. I'm assuming maybe she deleted it.
Hello everyone. In this video, I want to talk about a separate issue. To make a separate video because there's a lot to be said in both videos. Of late, I have received a ton of disgusting and disturbing threats, hate comments, and gore sent to me with messages saying, "Oh, I hope this happens to you." I've been called all kinds of names online, and I won't say them in the video, but I will be putting the comments on screen. Impacted my mental health greatly. So I'm not the only black creator that has gone through this. I've had multiple reach out to me and ask me if I've also faced the same hostility. And to my point, I also want to say I have not and will not ever condone racism. I have Twitter, so I did not know this until somebody brought this to my attention. But unfortunately, a lot of racist people have been using my videos to fuel their racism. I did not intend for that to happen.
Because you're a dumbass. All right, so here's the thing. There are people who are people that I happen to listen to that have that are talking about social topics or whatever the case may be. And there are a lot of them that are giving their opinion on this and then saying we should listen to people who have Tourette's, particularly black people who have Tourette's and coprolalia. And that take makes sense in general, right? One of the issues, though, is something that you can't just know. Like, what is their experience with other black people while having this condition? Because any of these intersections that I talked about, intersectionality, any of these intersections do not shield you from pressures and consequences of outside stimulus, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's a situation where, and I'm not saying this is her, because I don't know. Right. I don't know enough about her story to know this. But if it's a situation where most of the people who have made you feel bad about your condition are black people, you could potentially have some type of underlying issue with black people, or have some type of thing that pushes you away from black people. It's possible. Again, it's possible. I'm not saying it's her.
Can't say it, yeah, but it's possible.
Also, she's very young. Mm-hmm. So, prime example. I'm guessing she deleted the second video because I can't find it.
She probably did. She probably got a bunch of pushback.
Well, here's a video. I'm gonna read it. After she did that first one where she didn't know Delroy Lindo's name, she, I guess, made the second video that I watched, and then I guess she deleted that and made this one. It says, "Currently, I can't make a video as I'm sick and in pain, but this needs to be addressed. People have begun to use my videos on Twitter as a way to be racist, and this is absolutely unacceptable. I am not anti-black, nor do I or would I ever excuse racism. I explained Tourette's and coprolalia in deep detail, which offended some people, but unfortunately, at this point, people will be offended either way. I'm seeing people think that I meant that the presenters don't deserve apologies. They absolutely do. And I've stated this multiple times. I think the apologies should be private, not public. The whole situation was purposely... Wait.
Right.
The whole situation was purposely publicized by BAFTA, and that's obvious by now. They clipped out Free Palestine, but not that tick. They knew 100% that it would lead to discourse, and that's wrong. My intent was not to say that black people cannot be offended because, as stated in my videos, the community is more than valid." Here's the thing. You're just too young to be talking about this type of thing
Agreed.
in public. Now, when I say young, I'm not talking about the literal number of her age, right? Because my man J. William J.
Exactly, GA.
He's young. He's young.
Right.
And when I first stumbled across his content, he was young. Girl, it was a few years ago.
Right.
But he was studied enough in sociology and politics and all this other type stuff to be able to have takes that were thought out and nuanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
He understood the responsibility of the station in which he's set.
Right.
You don't. That last part. You don't understand the responsibility of the station that you have. Because if you did, you would have known that people were going to use your video to be racist.
Mm-hmm.
You would have been able to see that a mile away.
Yes.
Also, and I'm projecting on her because, again, I don't know her. So I mentioned the whole maybe black people treated you badly. But there's another side to it. It's maybe that you're just naive to the world, right?
Right.
Because when I saw your first video, I knew for a fact people were going to use it to be racist.
Yeah.
That's not a hard leap to make. And yeah, like GA said, no, it happened in public. You apologize in public.
Yeah.
That's not how that works. So the point that I was trying to find now,
that's throwing a rock and hiding your hands.
Yeah.
The
point that I was trying to find is now going to have to be a paraphrase because I can't find the video. Mm-hmm. But she was making an argument that if you walked to the logical conclusion, she would have either understood what she was saying was wrong, or she would have tried to explain that that's not what she meant.
Exactly.
So the argument that she was making is, yes, you have the right to be offended at what happened.
Thank you.
Also, yeah, she didn't stop there. She said, also, everybody in the audience knew that he was coming, and he has the right to be there. She stopped there, but the logical conclusion of that frame of thought is that means that if you don't want to deal with this type of stuff, you shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
that's the logical conclusion of that.
Yeah.
And that's not how any of this works.
No.
If I have bipolar, depression, and I know that my particular way of presenting is detrimental to people when I'm in a large group of people, it is on me to make whatever accommodations. Yes, it is on me to make whatever accommodations. If there's something serious going on in my life, because fuck the hypotheticals, right? I'm neurodivergent. I have ADHD.
Right.
If there's something serious going on in my life, it is my responsibility to make sure I'm able to handle that task. To put whatever things in place to make sure that I can do what I need to do when I need to do it.
Because you're an adult too.
Because I'm an adult. It's really that simple. So like not easy. Again, easy and simple aren't the same thing. But yeah, like, so I unfollowed her. She needs some time to cook.
She ain't been in the oven long.
Yeah. She needs some time to cook.
I
unfollowed her.
Part of that though, listen. As much as I'm not in the habit of giving motherfuckers bail often, I don't got money to give y'all niggas bail.
Yeah.
What I will say is some of this has a lot to do with things that are subconsciously learned in society when it comes to black people.
Yes.
And I had this conversation before with someone else about how there are traumas that we as a community have that we don't get grace for.
Correct.
That other people will get grace for their particular ladder of history and the things that took place that we don't get any grace for.
Yeah.
There's certain things that we are still traumatized, and this trauma was passed down from generation to generation, partially because y'all got to stop thinking that the worst stuff you can think of that happened to black people just stopped one day.
Yeah.
It just stopped one day, and there was no residual anything after that. That is ridiculous. That is a ridiculous assumption, right? In a society that is that suffers from severe anti-black pathology, right? In everything, from our appearance to how we speak, all of that shit, and it's constantly under scrutiny. When things like this take place, it activates those traumas in a lot of us, right? So instead of people speaking about it like the way they do any other thing,
right?
They never factor in that community has been traumatized, right? Because some of you only think you know the ugliness of it. You may have watched a documentary here. You may have seen Roots or some shit like that, right?
Right.
But a lot of you really don't know the ugliness of it and how that shit gets passed down from us. Like, I was born in '69. That's just a few years from when black people still want full citizens in this country. All right. When I was growing up, my mom didn't hide shit from me. Me and my brothers and sisters were well educated as children about all the places in Baltimore, for instance, that had white only signs. I remember being downtown with my mom. She said, this place, that place, they didn't want us to come here. We couldn't come in through this entrance. We couldn't do this. Because she didn't want it to be one of these things where these things took place, and then the people that had to experience it don't speak about it no more. So now you have a generation of their offspring to come after that don't understand the context with which they live in a society. It's irresponsible. That's irresponsible. You are literally setting your children up to get sandbagged, to get caught off guard from the bullshit. So these are traumas. These are things that we see, that we have seen, or was told to us by our parents, grandparents, etc.
Yep.
So when stuff like this triggers that, because there is this disposition in the society to want to say, man, black people just think they just not. How come they can't? Because it's this predisposition to do this and not to actually think about the trauma as a community that we have. When things like this happen, the first thing they say is, you guys are just being mean. No, because what he's gone through in his life is a thing. But what we've gone through as a community is also a thing. So when you get on your little soapboxes and start telling black people how they're supposed to feel about some shit, or giving us permission to be offended, thanks. That's not gonna hit us the way you think it's gonna hit us.
Right.
You're adding on to the triggers to the trauma.
Yeah.
And then we'll get defensive. And I'm telling you now, people who had to eat a lot of bullshit without retaliation, and are now in a situation where they feel like they should retaliate, we're not going to be the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Magnanimous about a lot of that shit. We're going to say, at a certain point, we say, fuck you. Don't tell us how to fucking feel.
Right.
The conversation goes nowhere. So basically what needs to happen is a certain context. When stuff like this takes place, it needs to be applied to all of this. You can 100% say that man has a condition.
Yeah.
He can't help.
He didn't do that shit on
100%
purpose.
say that.
And here's the thing about that. There are people saying, like, I don't pretend to know the science behind it, right? But there are several people saying it's almost that. Oh, I forgot this part. It's almost that your tics, they happen when you least want to say the thing that it is that's being said.
Right.
But separate from that, right? Giving him all the grace in the world for the condition that he has.
Right.
Because, like, here's the thing. again, if we're throwing out nuance and texture, I mean context, I'm black. These niggas out here being ableist to a certain degree, I'm gonna need y'all to bring that back. I need y'all to bring that back. Now again, if you in an argument with somebody that's not doing the nuance and context thing, hey, I can't
have at it.
Yeah, because But if you're actually in a conversation with somebody who's arguing in good faith, I'm gonna need you to bring back that ableism, my guy.
Yes,
because that's not how it's supposed to work. No, it's consolidarity everywhere. Anyway, separate from that, you don't know him. You don't know that he's not racist. What the fuck are we talking about? Defend the condition, right?
Defend the condition
because you know the facts about the condition.
You know what's crazy about you saying that, bro? You know what's crazy about you saying that? Because I've seen this be twisted in the other direction. When someone does something clearly racist, clearly bigoted, I have seen people go, "Well, I don't know his real thoughts."
Right.
I can't. But in this case, y'all know, y'all seem to know.
Miss me with that shit. Like, he got up there, he apologized, right? He apologized and he had a plausible story because the story that he gave, it does not conflict with what actually happened.
Right.
We saw. All right. First of all, he clearly has Tourette syndrome. There's no way around it. The reason he was there is because he did a documentary on the thing.
Exactly. That part is
clear. That's clear. We can call that a fact.
Right.
With Tourette syndrome and with Coprolalia, you're gonna slur. You're just gonna slur. It's gonna happen. the motherfucker came out and said, by that point, I had said some homophobic slurs. I had said some.
He called somebody a pedo.
Right. So that does not sound like somebody who's trying to cover something up.
Nah.
That does not. But because of that, notice we only heard one of the slurs. So that gives credence to the fact that BAFTA edited some of that shit and not all of it.
Yes.
So given those facts, I can believe his story.
Yes.
About what happened and how he basically got set up.
Yeah, to put a mic in front of him is wild work.
That's
crazy work, bro. And they set him up for this.
Yeah.
And this is the reason that we got to ask ourselves, what would be the reason for you doing that, knowing he has that?
Well,
what would also be the reason for you not editing that part out? When you add those two things together,
I'll stay away from the tinfoil as much as possible, and I'll give a bit of a steel man to them, and I'll say that they maybe had the mic in that position because that's where the mic needs to be to pick up the crowd, right? I'll give them that. However, you could have moved his seat, right? You could have moved his seat. I'll fight back on the idea that they put a mic in front of him, right?
My thing is the reason
they
why
put him in front of a mic.
The reason why that I will take the tinfoil and put it all around my head is because of the shit that we've seen this last year. I'm sorry. It's hard for me. I've seen shit that I said when confronted with this very thing some years ago. Man, that shit ain't happening. Only to find out this shit is happening.
No, listen. I will change my wording from they put a mic in front of him to they put him in front of a mic.
Right.
Because I don't want lost how nefarious it was either way.
Yeah.
Either way. I'm more likely to believe they put him in front of a mic. But again, why? You could have put him elsewhere.
Yeah.
You can't. They said that he said that everybody was told that he was there. So you don't think nobody would have been willing to switch seats with him?
Right.
So that he wouldn't be near a microphone?
They would have, bro. Somebody would have, bro. Because they would have understood. Like all this understanding y'all giving them now, somebody would have understood it then too. GA says, and I think this is a great analogy right here. He says, when I was going through my issues with long COVID recovery, I had this issue where I would cough up a projectile phlegm nougat, I know, without warning. I warned everyone and pre-apologized. To everyone I was in contact with, not my fault, but I still was the one hogging loogies it's on me.
Thanks.
Apologize after as well.
Absolutely.
That's it. Like, yo, this is not. I will still maintain that this is not that difficult to understand, except when it comes to us.
Yeah.
I can't quite form the connection with this decency in y'all.
Yeah,
right? It's just I'm having a hard time.
My man, my man, some of the show made a video about that shit. I sent it to too. He was like, "All right, 2 things have happened this week. You're not gonna believe either one of them." And he mentioned the thing with what's his name? What's dude's name? John Davidson. Mentioned the thing with John Davidson, and then in his video, he had everybody at an uproar. And then he mentioned how Trump just banned medical devices for people with disabilities whose life might be either altered or ended because they can't get them.
Now hold up. I understand why we bringing that up, but how come we ain't talking about the Dow?
Right. So the uproar was still going, and he was like, "Hey, hold on, wait, maybe you didn't hear me." So he turned that down and said it silently, and then he's like, "Surely you guys are going to be in as much of an uproar about this, about people actually, potentially dying." Crickets. I hadn't seen it. He was the first person I saw talk about that on social media.
Yeah.
The only, still to this point, I haven't seen anybody else bring it up on social media.
When you were gone, I mentioned something about there's a part of me that's wondering, why'd you keep that? Did you keep that so people will be talking about the event? Now, I know that sounds very, that would be very craven of them to have done some shit like that, right? GA just said, still fucked up, but they may have been trying to get a viral comedic moment out of him.
Possibly.
Funny ticking moments go hella viral.
Yeah.
They went viral the other way, though.
Yeah.
Play stupid games.
You want it to be one way, but it's another. So
it's the other way.
Here's the other thing about this entire situation. I know that you're used to the United States of America and our particular brand of racism. Yeah. However, don't forget who invented it.
Uh-oh.
What do you think the B in BAFTA stands for? What does the sun never set on?
The British Empire.
Oh, interesting. So, like,
who are currently? Is there a current controversy happening over there about immigration? About people from different countries who don't look like them? Because I haven't heard this about anybody other than people who don't look like what we consider to be the traditional British person, right? What has been the conversation happening over there? I've literally watched the protest shit that they have going on over there, as well as they got this thing, it was the LBC News, which is from over there, them basically covering a lot of this shit, right? So it's like SBJ is saying is, we are so accustomed to talking about a certain brand of anti-blackness that happens here in the United States. It didn't start here.
No.
It didn't start here. It started there. So like some of the same immigration disputes we're having over here for the exact same reasons they're having over there.
Yeah.
Now, there's a little bit more nuanced, only in the sense that it's kind of comical coming from them when they were the ones that went over into these other countries, destroyed their economies, ripped off their cultures, and then left them a hollow shell.
Thanks.
Then took whatever value that was there back to their country to build up their paradise, so to speak. And then the people over there had to deal with no value propositions for them over there.
Yeah.
So they got up and went to where all the money went, where all the value went, where all the hope went, where all of the opportunity went. They went there, and now you're pissed. The time to be pissed about an invasion was when you're doing the invading.
Yeah.
How about that? How about attacking it from that end? Right? Like, now you mad because you say, well, these people don't look British. These people don't look British. I've heard this argument. When we talk about British people, we talk people from England.
Right.
You know who we are speaking about. Yeah, well, that's interesting coming from you now. Right? That's very interesting coming from you now.
Mm.
You had no problem interjecting yourself into other people's cultures, land masses, taking their resources, taking shit that was from their cultural heritage and putting it in fucking museums in your country. But I digress.
Mm.
It's just real interesting.
Super. It's intriguing, Ethan. Yeah, all right. So let's move.
Pampo said, I'm mad I have to invade y'all today. Such a pain.
Right. Like what?
Yeah.
Like come the fuck on. Like, but yeah, let's slide into weekend review.
Yes. So I'll start my week. This week basically has been a regular ass week. Like there was a slight weather scare that did not turn into anything, thankfully. We have another weather scare coming.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether that's going to turn anything or not. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of research this week. I hate using the research. I studied on some shit. This I hate because people overuse that word, right?
True.
So I did some study on some things this week that will hopefully help the business that we're doing, and particularly I've been getting myself prepared to run an entire department.
Yeah.
Because there's more to, like, with this Majesty reader business that we're putting together and starting up. My particular role in that is to deal with publishers and users and make things their implementation of the app as smooth as possible, right? And I start thinking about, like, this week, what are the various ways of doing that? So one of the ways is, of course, coming up with tutorials for the publishers and how they upload their books and all of the features they can take advantage of there. The second, of course, is with users, because they're going to interact with it slightly different than the way the publishers are going to interact with it.
Yep.
Trying to figure out what our customer service shit is going to look like, because we got to have troubleshooting stuff.
Absolutely.
And that means also looking at the current condition of this software that we've created, this tech we created, and what are its current bugs, the stuff that we have yet to fix. What are the workarounds to those very things, right? These are all things that I'm going to have to know in order to be able to effectively do this. And also eventually having people who are going to be able to respond when they can't get what they need from the troubleshooting stuff. And so I looked into Zendesk at behest of my wife, of course. I looked into that to see how that worked, how we going to definitely utilize that shit as well. And that's going to come in real handy. And also I looked into how other companies handle the policy of how people get the amount of time gap between when someone makes the complaint and when they actually get responded to. Right. That sort of thing. Because all that's going to be important. I want to implement some things that makes sense and is reasonable and doesn't put us in the lurch, because we are going to start off with a very small staff to be able to run this thing. So that means I have to put something that's reasonable for us, as well as actually helps the people that have adopted the app. So this is actually a lot. And it's funny because when I think about the amount of man hours that this would have took without the current tools that we had, I suddenly start to realize how fortunate it was that we did all of this now, as opposed to early when we first had the idea. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't have any of these tools. And the other thing about that, it kind of came to mind some of the discussions that we was having on the show from time to time and privately about the usage of such tools. Things that I saw when Matthew McConaughey made his little, I wouldn't call it a speech, it was just an answer to a question and shit, on this interview when he talked about the productivity of it and how the inevitability of it. It's inevitable. And I start thinking about how, conversations me and SBJ and Graydon have had about how people are putting their energy into the wrong part of this because of the fact of its inevitability and how you've lived in this country your whole life. You don't know that they're business first. You don't know that. You haven't been made aware of the fact of how the tax system is set up and all of that shit. That this is not, you don't realize that they prioritize business and what's good for business over the workers. That's been a thing. You know what workers had to do in this country to get the stuff that the workers have? The fucking 40-hour work week.
Right.
Do you know the type of shit they had to do that? Why? Because this country does not prioritize the workers. In fact, they get offended if you say some shit like workers' rights. They get offended if you say workers of the world unite. Socialism, blah, blah. Like that. That's a trigger here. So I don't understand why people wouldn't think that in every case they're going to prioritize the business first. So yes, you can be angry about the people that create the tech. You can be angry about the impact that the tech has. Some of it is currently inflated, and they're using projections instead of what's currently happening. This is the other thing that I noticed this week too. So the current outlook is there's like 2% of the water stuff, for instance, is being utilized by that. That's currently projected, though, is a different conversation. They're talking about creating more of these data centers, then it's going to theoretically start taking up more of the water thing.
Yeah.
The other thing that's not being talked about, though, and this is what I mean by having a balanced, nuanced conversation about it, is that a lot of these data centers are moving away from the water thing. So theoretically speaking, if we're going to be intellectually honest, that means when they create the newer data centers, they're not going to be using the same amount.
Correct.
But we don't want to talk about that.
No.
It's valid as fuck to talk about these companies. But also,
yes,
we got to call a spade a spade. The shit that happened this week, but that I also saw this week, was Anthropic just caught hell from the United States government because they found out that their tools were used in the invasion of Venezuela, where people died. That goes against their terms of service. They went and talked to them, and what did this government do? Pretty much what you expected. You guys are anti-American, socialist, communist pigs, and you don't care about the health and safety of the United States. And they did all that shit. When actually, the motherfuckers at Anthropic did what the fuck they were supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Because I know I'm thinking it too. Oh, these fucking tech motherfuckers, they all on the side of such and such, and they literally said it goes against our terms of service for you to use this shit to actually fucking like guide missiles or to do surveillance on the population of citizens in your country, which is what they want to use it for.
Right.
Palantir and them wanted to use that for that. By the way, when Anthropic, when they deploy that shit, they have no control over how the government uses that shit after.
Correct.
They're not part of that part of the pipeline, right? That's what Palantir does. Who trusts Palantir? Let me see a show of hands.
Yes.
Who trust? Right. Yet Anthropic did the right thing to the point where even Sam Altman came out and said, "Yeah, I side with them on this," and they don't like each other. Them motherfuckers do not like each other.
Correct.
So a nuanced conversation is what what needs to be had. But one thing I realized this week was that, and we've been talking about this for a while, but it really became clear this week for me while I'm doing this stuff to set this stuff up for our business and all of that, is that you've been putting energy in the wrong spot. You're not stopping this. What needed to be done is all that energy that y'all are doing to attack small businesses and content creators, that should have gone to the politicians.
Yeah.
Because work culture is going to change. Fuck yeah, it is. It's going to change. And you think these old musty motherfuckers that's 70 years old sitting up there in that motherfucker that can barely use their computers they have now, can barely use all the features on their fucking phone. You think that they're going to have a plan how to transition the population, the workers, into something else? They don't. The attention should have went there instead of you trying to stop a 2,000 pound elephant
right
running through your fucking kitchen. get out of the way and check to make sure your insurance is up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not stopping that elephant. Even if you shoot him.
Yeah.
He's coming. He's coming. This week has really been about that. I watched my wife do her business meeting. She does several business meetings throughout the course of the week. And on top of the other stuff that she has to do.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm part of the meeting. Most of the time I'm not. But I'm on the other end of our office and I'm listening to the shit that's going on. And I'm telling y'all now, we're going to be very busy. We're going to be stupid busy. And this, I got to give props where props is due. The smartest thing for us individually was SBJ saying, yeah, we got to cut the show down. Well,
yeah.
It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully we come out on the other end of this much better than we came in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been my week, though.
Word.
Doing work on the business.
I mean, duh. All right. So real quick, I only got this little
Exactly,
thing.
Discord.
So, guys, I think it was my calling to be a stay-at-home dad. So I'm about to put my application in with my wife to see if she'll go for that. I don't think she will, but I'm gonna, I'm gonna try, because nigga, I be productive as hell when I'm listen. In these moments when I'm productive, I be having bursts of productivity. Like,
yeah.
So I'll give you an example. One of these little sprees that I had. So it was Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember which one, because that's one of the downsides of this shit. I never really know what day it is.
Thanks.
But I digress. I got up at like 6:30. Why did I get up at 6:30? Number one, I'm used to getting up anywhere between 6 and 6:40 to go to work, because I get up, go have my time in the shower and listen to music and all that other good stuff before I have to go out and talk to humans.
Gross.
Yeah, I know. So I get that time in, come out, get dressed, grab lunch.
Said the emergency C4 coming out of the closet.
Grab lunch or breakfast, whatever the case may be, head out to get to work by like 8 or something. So that's why. So on top of that, JJ's schedule is kind of like every 2 to 4 hours now that he wakes up. Actually, sometimes he might try to do 5. I'm kind of worried about 5 so early, but he's gaining his weight, so I don't be tripping about it. But I'd be like, all right, Joe, you're not hungry yet? Like, what's that?
Nah, he's like, nah, nigga.
Yeah, hey, and when he do that, I'd be like, all right, bet, my bad.
Try to cut back.
No, my bad. Listen, I get it. He's getting a little chunky now, so all right. So got up at like 6:30. JJ woke up to eat. I went downstairs to get his bottle, brought it upstairs, warmed it up, fed him, changed his diaper, brought him downstairs, stayed with him until he was content, collected all the dirty bottles from around the house, got the clean bottles out of the bottle washer, made him some new bottles, put the dirty bottles in the bottle washer, refilled, and the distilled water filter. We have a distilled water filter, because the bottle washer prefers distilled water, because one, so there aren't like white streaks on things.
Wait a minute, the way yours is on your sink.
No, it's not. It's a separate machine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a separate container. The bottle washer and the humidifier, which are two things that we use a lot, because baby, they both prefer distilled water. So we got that. So filled that. Let me see. Blah, blah, blah. Refilled the humidifier. Collected his dirty clothes. Went and put a load in the washer. Brought clean clothes that were down there upstairs. Made me a little fizzy drink. I'll explain. So
a fizzy
drink?
Drink?
Listen, this is what happened.
Oh man, big fizz.
No, this is what happened. So I drink a lot of water. Sue me. I drink a lot of water.
No, that's not a bad thing.
I know, but hey.
You got to keep that up.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's hard.
Listen, I went from years ago, I would not touch water. Like, I want to say like 5-6 years ago, I would not touch water.
Right.
Now, yeah, I'm on that water. So I did a grocery order, and there's this brand that my mother of water that my mother gets. It's delicious. It's like liquid gold. I ain't gonna hold
Kool-Aid.
you. No, nigga, listen. I wouldn't dare do anything to that water. That water, you put that in the refrigerator, let it get nice and cold.
Right.
Drink on that. You don't even want nothing now. You want the water. But anyway,
right.
So I was moving too quick. Plus, baby brain still exists. The baby's here. There's a lot going on. So I went to add it. Actually, I'm sorry. This happened before the baby was actually here, but whatever. Went to add it. It got here. Realized that I bought fucking sparkling water. So I'm like, God damn it. I'm like, all right, let me try it since I spent the money on it. Try that shit was disgusting. I'm like, come on, man. I just spent all this money. Blah, 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 blah. Gigi and Mo was here. I'm like, yo, that shit disgusting. Gigi was like, I kind of like it. I'm like, oh, cool. Take that shit with you when you leave, right? I went somewhere. I came back. It was still here. I'm like, yo, why you ain't take this shit? She like, my hands was full. It was a whole thing. I'm like, all right, cool. She was like, but what you could do is get the little flavor pack joints and put them in there, and you can have like a soda kind of. I'm like, okay, right. I'll try it. Right. Nigga, that shit is delicious. It's absolutely delicious. So I've been doing that shit ever since. So yeah, made me a little fizzy drink.
Yo, we used to call napalm Big Fizz.
That's hilarious.
Me and Marlon and shit, because he had this. There's a off-brand ass soda called Fizz or whatever, and we would have our game nights where we playing SmackDown and GoldenEye and Nightfire and all that other shit. Instead of getting the expensive brand name snacks, he would get the Fizz. So we had a picture of him holding the bottle like this in a very compromising looking quarter. You know how you catch them, the little freeze frame?
Mm-hmm.
We caught him in that. Ever since then, we was calling him, my man, Big Fizz.
Stupid. Sat down and got the last few kinks out of this thing that I was working on to make Majestic work a lot easier.
Yeah, listen, I gotta say, this nigga been putting in work. Like, that shit is so fucking helpful.
Oh, I made updates to it last night. We gonna talk about it. Yeah, we gonna talk about it. Right, ate a bowl of cereal, responded to a bunch of work emails from my 9 to 5. I did all that shit by like 9:15.
The productivity.
Nigga, it was like, by the time Chrissy came downstairs, she was like, oh, you just been sitting here? No. What you been? I've been productive.
The fact that you got that shit done in that amount of time. Nigga. See, like that's been the story of my past couple of weeks. Like, it's shit that I've gotten done that ordinarily would have taken me a whole week to do some of that shit. I do that shit in a day. Like, all right, it's done.
Word. Yeah, that shit was amazing. And lastly, just baby watch. Baby's great, getting big, getting longer. So I put this on fucking Facebook last week or so, maybe a week and a half ago. We had like a very few outfits that were preemie size. I put him in one like a week and a half ago, and it was like slightly too short, but like he still fit. So I'm like, all right, cool. The next time I went to put that shit on him, the feet of it came down to his knees.
Yo, cuz gains.
I'm like, yo, what the
gains?
fuck is
like,
happening?
What you talking about?
Couldn't even put it on him. Couldn't even try to squeeze him in. Then last night, we went to put some newborn shit on him, and that shit got us struggling.
What up, Zodiac?
So I'm like, yo, now he about to be like, now, to be clear, just like any other clothing, baby clothing, all of them ain't cut the same. So yeah, sure. But, goddamn, my boy, Like you getting long
gains, nigga.
Hey,
it's all about the gains.
Listen.
And yo, Fab said, well, lend me y'all energy. These twins have been draining my life. Yo, we got cheats though, bro.
Yeah.
We got some cheats. Yeah. So that helps. Believe me.
And as I mentioned earlier in the show, this is JJ's first time out of the house without me with his mother. She went to see her parents. It was a little touch and go for a little bit, but she made it over there. She over there, everything all good. So yeah, big wins. But yeah, that's it.
Wins. Yeah, so just so you guys know, we occasionally go over the hour.
Oh yeah, just like we occasionally went over the 3-hour mark. Like, come on, man.
I'm doing good, Zodi. So anyway.
Oh, by the way, like we're even doing this on my server. Like this,
facts.
Crazy. The joint that we use so we can see each other, and then I can put it into the.
It's on
it's on my server. Yeah,
it's making shit.
Hey, listen,
it's making
shit. Gotta get made. It's that simple. Shit gotta get made. Who am I not to do it?
I mean, sure. I ain't gonna do it. Well, actually, I made something the other day, but I couldn't finish the second half of it. I got to figure that part out. But yeah, we want to thank all of you for joining us once again for another rousing edition of the Black Culture Geeks podcast. Understand that there's always music, past music. There'll be some present music, sure, once we get time, right? But there is always music from us, from GA, from Graydon, you name it. There's music. Also, don't forget Majestic Comics.
Indeed.
In fact, that's the second meeting we got to do. Yeah. After we do this, we got to go do the Majestic Comics meet. So, go check that out. If you have not joined the Patreon, join the Patreon. If you haven't, remember that it's about to hit again because February is a short month. So make sure that whatever thing you need to do, stay connected. But that's it. So for my man SBJ, I am Tombstone the Dead Man, and for the greater multi-world entertainment family, we are out.
Peace.